If creativity truly lived in your mind, then thinking harder would make you a genius. But it doesn't, and it won't. Your best creative ideas come when you are not forcing them. They come when you are in your body, you're connected to yourself, and you're feeling alive because your body, not your mind, is the real source of your creative power and genius. So if you're stuck in overthinking, trapped in self-doubt, and just cut off from the sensations of your body, you're truly blocking your own creative power. So in this video, I want to help you get out of your mind and into your body so that you can access the level of creative vitality, flow, and power that has been waiting for you all along. So let's just dive straight in. And if you're new here, my name's Kev. That's it. So I want to start with deconstructing the false narrative that creativity is a mental process. It's not. Intellect is part of the equation, but creativity is a full-bodied sport, full contact sport, what have you. So again, it's like if overthinking was something that made you more creative, then you'd probably be a creative wizard, right? But chances are overthinking doesn't quite make you feel like a genius. So the cycle goes something like this, and this is a really broad stroke, but it holds true, right? You sit down to create, but you start analyzing, you maybe second guess yourself, you start overthinking, maybe you tense up a little bit, and you don't feel connected to flow. So then you start forcing your creative work instead of just feeling it and letting it move through you, or not move through you because sometimes you're just fucking not on it. And then you might realize that like your work it's just not there, right? Then you sit down and you rinse and repeat, right? The reason why this happens is our culture really glorifies intellect over intuition and instinct. We need both. I'm not making the case to say fuck intellect, but I am making the case to say integration, right? So society makes us believe that creativity is about the mind and your ideas and your ability to kind of connect dots and analyze. And while that is creative, it's only half the equation. Creativity, like I said, is a full-body sport. It's connecting deeply to the sensation, the emotion, and the deeper presence that you are and how to create from that place, right? So again, all of these things are tools, and your mind is just one tool, while your body is really like this fucking portal, right? It's like your body's the workshop, and your mind is a tool, So I want to use the whole workshop versus one tool to try to get the job done, And I want to touch on why flow state, let's say, I don't like using that word because I know a lot of people talk about it, but it's legit. We think it's a mental thing, right? But it's not. Flow state is a state that we access in a deep state of regulation in our nervous system. It's when we're in like this kind of ventral vagal state. If you don't know about the nervous system, I encourage you to go explore it on your own. But it's when we're in this deep state of safety, security, openness, so we're allowed to entertain inspiration. We're connected. We're allowing energy to move through us because we don't have to worry about some fucking shit that's happening outside of us. So flow state is really a nervous system state, but we try to force ourselves into it mentally. But rather than approach it mentally, I would want you to focus on how do I access that state in my body more readily. So that brings me to really the second truth, is that your body holds your deepest creative power. because your deepest creative power is found in your deepest creative flow, which is a nervous system state. So your nervous system is really the gatekeeper to flow. When you are dysregulated, you're really gonna feel layers of resistance, creative blocks, self-doubt, and even just the general fear of expressing yourself. I think any creative has felt that, right? When I don't feel safe, how the fuck am I supposed to create, right? If I'm fearful, I'm probably not gonna make the most heart-open, expressed version of what I'm trying to bring to the world. And again, translate this into whatever avenue is appropriate for you, whether that is you're an artist, or you clean solar panels, you hand paint signs, or you make music, you have a unique relationship to what it's like to have fear in your system while trying to move forward through life. So again, to touch on it more deeply, I believe that creativity lives in the senses. It's not just your thoughts. We now know that 80% of the neurological signaling starts from the bottom up, gut to the mind, We need both, but the bulk of the signaling starts from the bottom. So I really believe that creativity is, the deepest creativity is accessed through our feeling body in our senses, which is why, I think really successful creatives don't just think differently, they feel deeply. And I don't mean feel deeply like they're crying all the time. Like, I encourage you to access your emotions, and emotional fluidity is a lot of what I practice and I love to facilitate. But feeling deeply just means you are connected to your deep presence, and you're connected to the subtle flows of energy that are moving through you. You are steadfast in your presence so that you can notice change. You can notice a whiff of some idea flowing through not just your mind, but your whole system, right? Think of the best music, art, conversations, anything. All of it is born from a deep sensation, not necessarily just strategizing or thinking about what's going to happen next. So your body is the gateway, and what blocks us is our body tends to remember what our mind tries to forget, if that makes sense. So your past wounds, especially creative wounds around criticism, rejection, perfectionism, all those sticky things, they get stored in the body, and though our mind can try to forget them, they're trapped in our nervous system, which means our creativity is limited by those sort of charges, those repressed charges that are living in our system. Which is why I know you have $100,000 idea stuck in your nervous system. It's just, how do we unstick it, right? How do we unstuck it? That's like the classic question that I think so many people are asking themselves. And really, it's until you learn to integrate your fears and open up the doors to those darker places that are stuck energy inside of your nervous system, you cannot access creative flow. You will be blocked. And I believe it's not your natural creative state is flowing, but you will be blocked until you are ready and resourced to dive into the stories, the fears, the emotion, and the energy that is stuck inside the code of your nervous system. So to unlock your deep creative power, we really have to stop thinking. We need to start feeling. So unlocking your true creative power and vitality is a practice of embodiment. So just to give you a quick resource to reframe maybe how you're approaching creativity is move before you create. This can be as simple as going for a walk. It can be stretching your body, doing yoga. It could be fucking 3-song dance party. I'm a firm advocate of the 3-song dance party. Cue up your favorite 3 songs. Blast them in your car or in your living room or wherever, or in your headphones, whatever AirPods crazy new folks are doing these days. and just allow yourself to connect, or even not even connect to your body if you're not there yet, but rather just to disconnect from your mind, if that makes sense. You might not feel like you know how to connect to your body because if that's a new world to you, it takes time to get into the soma, the body. So maybe just even practice like, I'm just gonna disconnect from my mind. I'm not gonna try to connect, I'm just gonna start with the negative first, right? Just disconnect, you know? And so that is gonna help you make the longest journey of your life from the head to the heart, even though it's so close, you know? It's the longest journey, but even though it's the shortest distance, that is really where you start to access your deepest latent creative potential, right? So before you create, even if you have a job and you're sitting at the desk, you gotta be there at 9, just freaking shake, move your body, do whatever the fuck you have to do. And I know it sounds so simple and so woo, but shit starts to physiologically change when we move our body, you know? We can access different neuroreceptors and chemicals and hormones and all sorts of things just by taking a second to really be here, right? So that's step 1, you know, and look, that can be anything from dancing to surfing to breath work to your you know, whatever floats your boat, 3-song dance party, just maybe even writing down whatever you're feeling in the moment. Who the fuck cares? Anything that's just more direct translation, intuition, you know, get into that state. Feel rather than think. And once we start connecting to our body, the next step is we can lean into those instincts more. We can lean into what I call the subtle creative nudge. You could also say intuition, but it's deep. It's so subtle. It's deep. So it's not just your ideas, it's how the slight variations of feeling in your body. It's all of a sudden some little nudge comes in that says, hey, stop what you're doing for 5 minutes, go for a walk outside. Hey, I know you're writing about this, but here's a seed of an idea, please acknowledge this, you know? It's trusting the signals that are coming up in your body. Now, discernment is a huge part of this as well. But the body is always giving you signals. And the signals, I think, are sort of like the radio transmissions of what is moving in and through you and around you at all times. I would say magic, the divine, whatever floats your boat, right? So when we can tune into those signals, we start to create an attunement to what is really pulling us in life. What really makes me come alive and excited? And what's sort of repelling me? What do I not like? When we can get more in touch to our feeling body, we're not in a mental pros and cons list of yes and no. We're in a somatic experience of that's a yes, that's a no, that's a maybe. We're much, much more attuned to what we have capacity for, what excites us and what doesn't excite us, you know. So we get to start with the feeling, so follow the feeling first, and then we can start to refine with the mind later. Maybe this idea comes to you when you're in the middle of a task, i.e., you're maybe not thinking, you're just in the act of feeling, and an idea comes. Set it to the side, see how it makes you feel, then kind of return to it at a later date, and use your mind to then, okay, this felt really good when it landed, this made me feel inspired, so let's see, is this feasible? Is this something I have space for? Feeling first, mind second, right? And so as we start to connect to our body, we know how to get into our openness a little bit more. Maybe we can't just drop straight into flow state, but we are able to know, okay, it's time to get into my feeling body, it's time to start creating. Then we can learn about how to downshift and deepen our presence in our nervous system state, because your nervous system state is really how you access creative flow. So you can think of it really like this. A safe body becomes an open channel for creative flow. The more tense and uncomfortable and, well, maybe I shouldn't use that word, but the more tense and sort of unsafe we might feel at whatever subtle level, whether it's emotional, physical, whatever. Probably not physical, most of the time mental, right? But sometimes physical. The more tense and unsafe that we feel, the less open we are for creative expression. So again, to double down on practices that help our body really believe that we're safe. Things like breath work are immediate downshifts. Even experiencing things like contrast therapy, where you jump in the fucking ocean or you do a cold plunge. I know it's super in vogue, but man, that shit fucking works. You get into cold water and you train yourself to say, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. That's opening your nervous system, right? That's opening and rewiring these pathways that are said, circumstance equals become dysregulated, fight or flight, all my creative energy goes to just being alive, you know? That's hard to really access deeper levels of presence, which is where your creativity really is, right? So anything that can bring your somatic awareness to the fact of how am I feeling right now, and how can I be a little bit more open? How can I really tap into the fact that I'm safe right here and right now? I might have shit that's going on in my life, but I'm safe to create. Whatever expands that capacity for you to become more aware is going to expand your capacity to hold more of just what I call life, which means more energy, more ideas, not just mental, but creative ideas that are energies flowing through you, more responsibility, more money, just about everything, right? So your best work is never going to come from you forcing it. It's going to come from your ability to sort of surrender, to downshift into a more regulated state. And the goal isn't to always be regulated, that's unrealistic, but it's to realize when you get activated and how to repair and come back into regulation more efficiently. And then your capacity to sort of trust and let your creative flow move through you without you needing to control it or needing to analyze it to kingdom come. So even if an idea comes through you that feels good, and then as you're working through it, you might start to see, fuck, I don't think this is going to be realistic. Give yourself 5 minutes to work through it, to cultivate that trust with your body and to see where it can go. Because you don't know what could be made available to you unless you're fully fucking present with what is moving through you now. You can't be made aware of step B if you don't follow step A to a vista that allows you to even see step B, right? So to recap, your true creative power is not in your thoughts. It's in your nervous system. And your next fucking juicy, big, powerful, impactful idea, your business, is stuck in your nervous system. And to get that juicy $100,000 idea out of your nervous system, you have to learn how to make the long journey from the head into the heart, into the body, by connecting through the sort of subtle body of feeling, sensation, emotion, and intuition. So if you're really looking to unlock sort of deeper connection with your creative power and your body, I invite you to check out my Embodied Creator Toolkit. It's a training for ambitious creatives to do exactly that and how it relates to you expressing yourself in business. So the link's in the description below. And then a free resource I have for you, of course, is the newsletter. Please check that out. And if you haven't, please subscribe, because it really helps out the channel for me to keep doing this for y'all, because I love giving this gift to you. So thank you for listening. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.